I thought I'd give you a little look at the vegetable plot that you saw me digging earlier in the year, and I'd show you what was working and what wasn't. So yeah, the peas are doing fine. So I've got 4 rows of peas here. But you remember me planting out some onions? I have been absolutely at war with the blackbirds over these onions. I thought if I put my onions here rather than out on the allotment, I'd be able to keep an eye on them, I'd be able to keep them watered, and they'd work, whereas I can't on the allotment, and they'd grow a lot better here. However, every time I've put the onions in, the blackbirds have hopped down onto the plot looking for some nesting material, and they've pulled them all out again. And sometimes it's taken me 24 hours before I noticed that they've been pulled out. And so you can see the poor little things haven't done very well at all. Next time I plant onions out in the garden where I've got quite a lot of blackbirds, I'm going to have to put some sort of bird scarer up above them. Now here I've got a couple of rows of carrots which I've sowed in the garden. They don't do very well on the allotment because there's so many pests and diseases on the allotment that the carrot fly finds them straight away. I'm hoping by putting them in the garden I should have something worth eating rather than something that's riddled with little holes. Spring onions did well. They were planted before the blackbird started nesting, and that was fine. But here is something that I think you'll be really interested in. So here I've got a row of rocket. As you can see, it's looking green and lush, and it's producing well, and I'm having quite a lot of salad off that. Next to it, from the same batch, is some rocket which I potted up into little individual pots and then forgot about and didn't water enough. And can you see it's starting to produce these long central stems, so it's starting to rise up to flower. These were from the same seeds planted at the same time, and you can see these ones here that have had the stress from the lack of water, they're almost finished, whereas these ones have been watered well and not subjected to stress are really doing quite well. I think that's really, really interesting myself. I've also got a courgette planted in the garden because courgettes need picking pretty much every day, otherwise they turn into marrows. And here's my little bed of leftover cabbage family plants, which I thought I'd plant here and see what I got to eat off them. I'm not expecting them to turn into cauliflowers and particularly good turnips, that kind of thing, but I just thought I'd plant them here and then I could eat the leaves before, well, if I need to put anything else in the bed here. Round the edge, I've been lucky enough, an allotment neighbour of mine has given me a load of strawberries, so I've been able to plant a strawberry row all the way around the soil part of the bed. And here, of course, you might remember my making a no-dig bed and planting potatoes. Well, those were knocked back severely by the lack of rain that we had. They are only just starting to show through. I'm quite relieved to see them, to be honest. I had dug a bit into the allotment, just lifting up the mulch to see if they were still alive, because it had been so long since I put them in. I was worried that they hadn't made it. But no, here they are all coming through, so I shall let those grow to about 6 inches, 8 inches tall, and then put a little bit more mulch on to earth them up, and then those will be ready to leave until it's time for harvesting. These are first earlies here, so I'll be harvesting them kind of mid-June-ish. And back over here, you'll remember this is where we planted the runner beans. They're doing quite well. Been giving them quite a lot of water, a little bit of liquid manure in it sometimes, and you can see they're running up their strings. Not quite as tall as me yet, they're not far off. Oh, blimey, I think this one is as tall as me. Yeah, fantastic. So that's just a little update to show you how the things that you've seen me planting are going on.